Hare Krishna, Hinamataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, how are you?
Yes, I am good. How are you?
Yes, all well. I was actually wondering, we didn't have a session thereafter, na, for Puri.
Yeah, actually, we are going to have it tomorrow.
Okay,
Tomorrow evening, we are going to have an orientation at 6 p.m.
okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, because there are this Vaikuntha Ekadashi is next week. So, I mean, on 23rd. So,
23rd, yeah.
there are many,
You are
many.
busy for that, yeah.
Yeah, but evening tomorrow, we will have the Jagannath Puri orientation program also.
All right.
So, Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. Chutanji has joined on YouTube. So, in the previous session, we have discussed some very important things about chapter 9, chapter 12. And there are some nice things Krishna has explained that how you can be fixed upon me and how you can attain me. So, that a little bit of recap we will do. But before that, let us all uh, together chant the pranam mantras and then we will proceed with our session. Hare Krishna Dev, thank you for joining. Hare Krishna Vinodji, Hare Krishna. So, in a, let us all together begin with the pranam mantras. It will be displayed on the screen and then we will all chant the pranam mantras. Let's dedicate this session to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, and my beloved spiritual master. And this is the 131st session of the Bhagavad Gita study circle. So we have come a long way. We have discussed many wonderful things. So let's chant the pranam mantras together. Kindly chant along with me. Join your palms. Namo Vishnupadaya कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः Hare Krishna, welcome back once again. So in the previous verse, we had discussed that Krishna is telling that Mai eva mana adastva Mai buddhim niveshaya nivashishyasya Mai eva ata urdhvam na samshayah. So Krishna said to Arjuna that, "O Arjuna, just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt." So, what is happening? Krishna is saying here that if you fix upon your mind upon me, so mind is a subtle element. It's a part of the Shukshma Sharira, right? It's mind is a subtle element. It is not a gross element. And we all know that the function of the mind is to generate thoughts. It is the ability to think. So Krishna is saying, if you fix your mind upon me, and engage all your intelligence in me. That means we also know that how intelligence is about the mind. It is more subtler than the mind. So Krishna is saying you have to fix your mind. But how do we fix our mind? We know that very famous chariot example, the chariot analogy we have discussed. The body is compared to the chariot, right, with the five horses representing the five senses. So the reins the mind, and the driver is the intelligence, right, and the passenger is the soul. We have understood that in the previous verses. So now, if we are able to fix our mind, and by engaging all our intelligence, then the result of this is we will always, without a doubt, live with Krishna. That is what Krishna is saying here. We can live with Krishna if we are able to fully engage our intelligence, and our mind is fully and always engaged on Krishna. So when we fix our mind and intelligence, both the mana and the buddhi, on Krishna, then automatically we will live with Krishna. That means the result of doing this is we can all live with Krishna. So that is exactly what we want as bhaktas. We want to live with Krishna. Krishna is actually sharing a secret here. If you want to live with me always, then you have to fix your mind and intelligence. So this is what Krishna has told. So this is a kind of state of spirituality where it is compared to the topmost meditation. It is like a samadhi where your mind is fully absorbed and always fixed upon Krishna. Our mind is not wavering on anything. But right now our situation is not like that, right? Our mind is constantly moving from one place to another place, one place to another place. Even right now, while we are listening, we have so many things going on in our mind. Oh, maybe I have to go and cook the breakfast. I don't know. Maybe I have to go and have some meeting. I have to go out for market. Mind is having a lot of things to churn. So our mind is not fixed right now. Our mind is constantly moving, from shifting from one to another. So we need to fix that wavering mind of ours. And how do we do that? We do that by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. When we chant Hare Krishna mantra, the mind is pulled back all the time. When you chant loudly, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So immediately when you chant loudly, the mind comes back. So that is how we bring back our mind. And for bringing back that mind, we should use our intelligence, buddhi. So for buddhi to become strong, we have to listen to the Bhagavad Gita. If there is no Bhagavad Gita, then the buddhi, the intelligence will not become strong. Intelligence will become strong only when you hear, when you have wonderful Shravanam. When you listen to the Bhagavad Gita, your intelligence will become strong. And when intelligence is strong, mind will automatically be under control and will be fixed upon Krishna. So we want to live with Krishna. Krishna is saying you fix your mind with intelligence. So this is what Krishna has told. But what to do? Prabhu, we are not in the state. We are not able to fix our mind all the time on Krishna. Our mind is wavering. So what do we do now? So then Krishna is saying, okay, no problem. Krishna is also lowering his uh, position so that we can access him. So one is you fix your mind, which is extremely on the topmost level. But in case if you're not able to do that, then Krishna is lowering himself so that we can access him. So how do we access him? That is mentioned in the next verse number 9. So Hina Mataji, you can unmute yourself. Let's chant the next verse. Verse number 9, very important, very nice verse. It says, Ata chittam samadhatum. Yes, Hina Mataji. You can unmute yourself and you can chant. Am I audible? Yes. Can you hear? You just unmute yourself and you can chant. If not, then I will continue. Okay, maybe there is some
I
network issue.
I think some problem with her mobile.
Okay, no problem. Vinodji, you can chant.
Yes.
अथ चित्तं समाधातुं
अथ चित्तं समाधातुं
न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम्
न शक्नोषीरुरम्
अभ्यासयोगेन ततो
अभ्यासयोगेन ततो
मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय.
मामिच्छातुं धनञ्जय.
Once again, अथ चित्तं समाधातुं
अथ चित्तं समाधातुं
न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम्
न शक्नोषि मयि शुचिरम्
अभ्यासयोगेन ततो
अभ्यासयोगेन ततो
मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय.
मामिच्छापतं धनञ्जय.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. See, very nice. So, what is Krishna basically saying here? He's saying, my dear Arjuna. Now, when he's saying Arjuna, it actually means to all of us. Why? Because we are unable to fix our mind. So, in that way, because Vinodji chanted today, he say, oh, my dear Vinodji. So, oh, you please, if you cannot fix your mind upon me, then what you have to do? Without deviation, if you're not able to fix your mind, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. So, in this way, develop a desire to attain me. So, here there is another level of bhakti which is being explained by Krishna. So, he is basically saying that we all are very disturbed in our minds. That is for sure, it is there. We are not all the time fixed on Krishna. We are wavering. Our bhakti is always wavering, like a sinusoidal wave. Sometimes it is at the peak, sometimes at the bottom peak. We are going down. So it's always like moving up and down, and that is the nature of this material world. Nothing is constant here. So our bhakti also keeps wavering. So what Krishna is saying here, he's saying, if you want to, if you're not able to fix your mind constantly, then you do abhyasa yogena tato. See, we have all heard this word abhyasa, especially as students. The this word is commonly used. Even I was told when my child, you should do abhyasa. You should do abhyasa. Abhyasa was mostly restricted to studying our regular school books and curriculum like that, right? So abhyasa means you do studies, but abhyasa means actually practice. It's about practicing the following or following the process, that is abhyasa. So it is so interesting that in Bhakti Yoga, when we actually follow the process, that also can become yoga. See, we all have heard about karma yoga, we have heard about jnana yoga, we have heard about bhakti yoga, ashtanga yoga. There are different types of yoga that we have heard, and here Krishna is talking about abhyasa yoga. Abhyasa yoga means what? Yoga means to connect with the Lord, right? The connection between the Atma and Paramatma, that is enabled by yoga, the process of yoga. So Krishna is saying there is Abhyasa yoga. Abhyasa yoga means the process itself can become yoga. Today's modern psychologists, they call this as the flow state. The flow state means you enjoy the process. You are not worried about the result, the end result, but you enjoy the process. So this is called the flow state. So Krishna is also talking about this flow state, Abhyasa Yoga, where you enjoy the process. And how do we enjoy the process? There are these regulative principles which Krishna has explained. Okay, you cannot actually fix your mind. I understand your difficulty. So if you're not able to do that using your intelligence, I understand the mind is very, very powerful. Arjuna also has mentioned that I can control the wind, but not the mind, right? So definitely to fix the mind is difficult. So Krishna is saying, yes, you practice the regulative principles. So there are two types of bhaktis now. One type of bhakti is like you are instantaneously. You are like spontaneously attracted and attached to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. That is transcendental love. For example, all the Gopas, the Gopis, the Vrajavasis, they are spontaneously attracted to Krishna, and that bhakti is the topmost bhakti. But ours is not that Raganuga bhakti where it is spontaneous, but ours is a Vaidhi bhakti. Vaidhi bhakti means we follow the bhakti through rules and regulations. We follow rules and regulations. Why it is prescribed for all of us? So that ultimately we attain the stage of being attached to Krishna. We want to be attached to Krishna. Krishna wants to be attached to us. More than us, actually, Krishna wants to be attached to us. So, for that reason, Krishna has given us some regulatory principles so that we also become attached. Because love means what? It is attachment from both the sides, right? Love is not one sided, it is two sided. So, Krishna is definitely already attached to us, but we are not attached to him. So Krishna wants us to get attached to him. So he has given some regulatory principles. What are those regulatory principles of Bhakti Yoga? So Bhakti Yoga means it is the purification of senses. Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that Bhakti Yoga means purification of senses. We have five senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch, right? So all these five senses are to be purified. It's extremely important that we purify our five senses. This is what Prabhupada is saying, that if we somehow or the other purify our senses, then this material existence will become pure. Although we are in this material body, but if you purify your senses, then automatically you will become pure, your existence will become pure. What is purification of senses? Basically, not gratifying our senses. Because what happens is, these senses give us certain pleasure. Some material pleasure is there for sure. You know, for when we see some beautiful forms, when we hear some beautiful, nice song, very melodious song, when we taste some nice prasadam, there is some pleasure. So these senses are giving us pleasure. So when they give us pleasure, what happens is we want to indulge more. We want more and more of it. So Krishna is saying, no, abhyasa. You do abhyasa. What is that abhyasa? Do not indulge yourself completely in gratification. Don't do that. We have to restrict our senses. Why? Because then we will, by that abhyasa, then we will become purified. That abhyasa yoga, this is called abhyasa yoga. Purifying our senses is abhyasa yoga for us. So everything is normalized, everything is appropriately done in bhakti yoga. When you follow the rules and regulations, your body is getting tuned to becoming pure. That is very much essential. So this is what we want. Why? Because we want to get attached to Krishna. That is love. Love will automatically emerge out of our heart when we follow and purify our senses. And this itself, you're getting up early in the morning today, right? I don't think we had this session so early anytime before in the last 3 years. But still, this is the first time, and there is certain abhyasa that you have done before, and this is another level of abhyasa. You have woken up early morning to attend a session. This abhyasa is actually what? Purifying your senses. You have given out that enjoyment of sleep. No, you could have slept, but you have sacrificed a little bit. That gratification that we get out of sleep, you have sacrificed that. So that is noticed by Krishna. So this is purification. This is the process of purification. So this is abhyasa. This is bhakti yoga. Without, if you have not tasted a tinge of bhakti, it is not possible. You will say, "Oh no, let me go and sleep." But because you have tasted what is bhakti, you are able to get up because now you have certain love for Krishna. So you want to intensify that love. So this is abhyasa. So very nice. So why we want to be in this process? Because ultimately we are all serving some masters. See, we all are serving some masters, but in this material world, when we serve some master, there is a transaction. The It's not out of love, it is about transaction. Because when you serve some master here in this material world, he pays for the work that you do, and he wants to extract all the work that he wants so that he makes profit, right? There is no question of love here. And you also, you get paid for what you work, and then there is no question of love. So, but in this case, we have a master, that is Krishna, and Krishna is more than willing to love us. It's we are not who are taking the step forward to take that love and intensify, right? So this is a good chance for all of us. We all have a wonderful chance in human form to get attached to Krishna. So that love for Krishna is already there in our heart, dormant, lying dormant in our heart. Now it's time that we bring it out. Let us express it, learn to express it. Because love means it cannot be within the heart, it should be expressed. Only when you express, because love means action. And when we love Krishna, it should be put into actions. And put into action means, yes, I will follow the regulative principles of bhakti. I will wake up early in the morning. I will cook prasadam. I will eat only prasadam. I will do so many things for the pleasure of Krishna. I'll offer flowers. I'll offer, fruits, whatever it is. All these are different things, our actions, which will intensify our bhakti. So basically, all these things, the Bhakti Yoga, the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, should be under the guidance of a spiritual master. A guide, we all need a guide. When we have a guide, our bhakti process becomes more relishable, and also when we have some questions, we have some doubts, it's easy to go and ask and then progress further and also very faster. So that's why when we have a guide, the guide will tell us, no, you should maintain cleanliness like this, you should cook like this, you should offer something to the deities like this, you should take only prasadam, you can wear this kind of clothes and not other clothes. When we follow all these things, when we constantly hear the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam from the pure devotees, then anyone can actually raise above from the lowest platform and actually get Krishna consciousness, the love of God. That is very much possible. Just by hearing, we can develop love. And that's a beginning actually. Hearing means developing love for Krishna. So we should hear more and more, right? So Krishna is saying now, please follow these rules and regulations under the guidance of a spiritual master, and then you will surely attain love of God. Why Krishna is saying you follow this process of rules and regulation? Because you are not able to fix your mind. Because you are not able to fix your mind, okay. Krishna is saying you follow the process as per the guidance of the spiritual master. Now the question may arise, Prabhu, I don't have a spiritual master, or I don't have anyone to guide me. Then what will we do? Then Krishna is saying, okay, if you cannot follow these rules and regulations and you don't have a master, then there is something else for you. That also Krishna is going to mention. So that is how you see Krishna is always so merciful that he knows our situation. We are not so strong in our mind, in our actions. So Krishna is going to bring it down further. What is that? That is mentioned in the 10th chapter, 10th verse. So Dev, you can unmute yourself. Let's chant the 10th verse. Okay, so the 10th verse says, Atachit, no, not this one. Yeah. अभ्यासेऽपि असमर्थोऽसि
अभ्यासेऽपि असमर्थोऽसि
मत्कर्म परमो भव
मत्कर्म परमो भव
मदर्थम् अपि कर्माणि
मदर्थम् अपि कर्माणि
कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि.
पूर्वं सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि.
Once again, अभ्यासेऽपि असमर्थोऽसि
अभ्यासेऽपि असमर्थोऽसि
मत्कर्म परमो भव
मत्कर्म परमो भव
मदर्थम् अपि कर्माणि
मदर्थम् अपि कर्माणि
कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि.
कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Hare Krishna.
Yes, wonderful. So, see, in the 8th verse, Krishna said, you fix your mind. It is a subtle element, right? And then he said, okay, if you cannot fix your mind, then you actually practice this rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga. Here he's saying that if you cannot follow the process of Bhakti Yoga because you don't have a guidance from the spiritual master, then you just work for me. So, one is in verse number 8, at a subtle level, you get attached to me. If you cannot get attached to me at a subtle level, then you get attached to me at a gross level. So, that is why he's saying you work for me. Working for Krishna is so important. If the same thing we go and work outside, we are not going to get any benefit. But here, when we work for Krishna, we are gradually coming closer to our constitutional position as a soul. As a soul, we have a constitutional position. A soul means to serve and to love. But whom to serve and whom to love? That is misdirected right now. We are serving, we are loving, but it is not Krishna, somebody else. So, Krishna is saying here, if you cannot follow the Bhakti Yoga process, the rules and regulations, then you work for me. So, such an important thing it is. So working for Krishna is not an ordinary thing. So if you fix your mind, then you will live with me. Then if you follow the rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then you will attain me. At least you'll get the desire to attain me. If you cannot do that, then what Krishna is saying, at least if you work for me, then you will become perfect. You will come to the stage of you become of perfection. You see, that's what work by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So you will perfect stage means you will not be bewildered with whether what is dharma or what is adharma. That is perfect stage. Perfect stage means the person knows what is dharma and adharma. Right? So we have to work for Krishna. The result of doing that is you come to the stage of perfect stage. Very nice. So what is that perfect stage? Let us understand. So now there are some nice things that Prabhupada has said, that in the purport we all have to work for Krishna because this is a huge movement. There is a lot of movement. You see now there is nice kirtan also going outside. Prabhupada is coming. Prabhupada is going to have darshan. So such a big temple, right? Now each one of us have to work for Krishna because that is when this whole big temple will operate nicely and many more people can come and take benefit of this temple, right? So such a big organization is there. Now just imagine if it is just left to no one, then it will all collapse. Nobody will get benefit out of it. You will know for sure that there are so many temples in India, big temples. Today they have just become some World Heritage sites, and people just go there as for sightseeing, but there is no worship happening. There is big temple, big complexes, big land, but there is no one to maintain. Why? Because there are no people to work for those temples. So we need people who can work for Krishna more and more. Otherwise, what's the point in building big temples when there are nobody to actually work for Krishna? So Krishna is saying here, if you cannot fix your mind, if you cannot follow the rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga, you at least work for me. So when we work for Krishna, then we'll come to the stage of perfection. Otherwise, such big movement, especially the Prabhupada's movement, it needs a lot of land, it needs capital investment, it needs the labor, it needs the organizational skills. When you have all of these, then it can be utilized in Krishna's service properly. So we have to work. We all have been blessed with some talent, right? Some talent. For example, now Vinodji had come last time. You have a talent. You understand the HVAC principles properly. And I asked you that, okay, this is what we can. We have a problem in our temple. There is so much of soot that comes out. You came up with some solution. We were a little late this time. We'll not be able to implement this year, but next year at least we know that what we can do. So now this is an advantage. When you have certain talent, we are blessed with certain talent, we can actually work for Krishna. By doing so, we will come to the stage of perfection. Otherwise, we same work, however we perform outside, and not for the satisfaction of Krishna, then there is no benefit. There's only some transactional money that we are going to get. We may earn a lot of money, building, office, and all so many things may come. But what's the point? But the same building, the temple, offices for the temple, and every activity, publication, printing the books, going out, distribution of prasadam, everything that you can get engaged physically, then using your physical body, when you engage yourself, you will come to the stage of perfection. See, so Krishna is basically trying to accommodate everyone because he knows that not everyone is in the same stage. We all are evolving in bhakti, in our Krishna consciousness, and this evolution happens not just in one lifetime. It happens through many, many, many lifetimes. Not just that we directly come to Krishna consciousness unless we have the mercy of causeless mercy of the spiritual master. Otherwise, not possible. Just not possible. It is very difficult to attain this state. Bahunama janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyante. Bahunama janmanamante. After many, 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 many lifetimes, people can come to understanding that what is Krishna, who is Krishna. So we have come to that state now. We should voluntarily uh, come forward and serve Krishna for the cause of spreading Krishna consciousness. So that is how we become perfect in our existence. So isn't it very interesting? So we should work for Krishna. You cannot fix your mind. Bhakti Yoga principles. Bhakti Yoga principles you cannot follow. You work for Krishna. Now some people will say, Prabhu, I cannot do this also. I am not so perfect that I can my body, and I have so many other things to do. I have my goals, and there are many other things I need to achieve. I cannot work for Krishna all the time like you. So what do I do then? So then I cannot fix my mind. I cannot follow the regulative principles of bhakti. I cannot even work for Krishna. Then what do you do? That Krishna is also further accommodating. What is that further accommodation? Let's see. So if Hinamataji, your mobile is okay, then you can unmute yourself and try to see if it can help you to chant the next verse. Okay, let's chant. Ataitat api asaktosi. Okay, maybe the volume has some issue. So, Vinodji, you can unmute yourself. Let's.
Yes.
Ataitat api asaktosi.
Atetat apyasatyosi
Kartum mad yogamashritah.
kartyum madhyogam astritata
Sarvakarma phalatyagam.
sarvakarma phalatyagam
Tatak kuru yatatmavan.
tata kuru yatatmavam.
Once again, ataitat api asaktosi.
Atetat apyasatyosi
Kartum madyogamashritah.
kartum madhyogam astritata
Sarvakarma phalatyagam.
sarvakarma phalaityatam
Tatak kuru yatatmavan.
tatat kuru yatatmam.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self situated. Hare
Wonderful. Very nice. So now Krishna is saying that, all right, if you are unable to work for me continuously all the time, not able to do some seva for spreading this consciousness physically, mentally you are not able to do, regulative principles of bhakti you are not able to do, physically also you are not able to do any work for me, then no problem. If you are not working for me, but we are all souls, spirit souls, we will definitely be working somewhere else, in our offices, in our schools, or wherever it is. So that when we work outside, Krishna is saying, you offer the result to me. See, when we work somewhere, definitely there is a result. So try to give up that results of your work and try to be self-situated. See, Krishna is saying something very interesting here now. So what is the result of this is that if you are not able to work for me, then at least that result you give to me. Now, this is not the highest thing, okay? giving the result of your work is very easiest thing that people can do. There are many people, many donors of the temple. When we go and meet them, they say, प्रभु जी कुछ सेवा है करना है. हाँ, सेवा तो बहुत है, आप आइए मंदिर, आके वहाँ पे 1-2 घंटा वहाँ पे खिचड़ी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कीजिए. दे विल से, प्रभु जी वो सब नहीं होगा हमारे से, हम डोनेशन दे सकते हैं, आप लीजिए और ये डोनेशन आप एक्सेप्ट कीजिए, हम आपको ये ना अन्नदान है हमारा, आप 10,000 15,000 whatever they say like that, and they give. So that is easy, because most easiest thing that you can do, but that's not the topmost. That's why Krishna is mentioning this at the last. First is mind, then you follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, then you work for me physically. If you're not able to do that, okay, at least you're getting some result of the work that you're doing. Give that result to me, so that you will become self-situated. Because generally what happens, this is not Bhakti. Many people, actually, Krishna is saying that you just don't have to. Here, Krishna is saying, if you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, if you're not able to work, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. He's not even saying that you give the result of your work to me. Just see, there is a very important thing. Krishna is not saying that give the results for me. He is saying try to give up the results of your activities that you're doing. That means what? When people work outside, they get some money. And through that money, they start doing some philanthropic work. They go and do some charity in the old age homes. They try to go and help some poor people, feeding them. Especially winter time, if you go to Delhi, there are a lot of people who do this, chaddar dan. They give this blankets as a charity, because many people are on the street, so they go and do this dan. So there are many philanthropic NGOs which have come up to help people. Why? Because you have got a lot of money now, because you have earned a lot of money. Krishna is saying, even if you don't give that result to me, at least start giving up some result, Baba. Because even if you start giving up those results, not necessarily to the temple or for spreading Krishna consciousness, just giving that result also will help you to be self-situated. Self-situated means at least you will not be attached to the material things. Krishna is saying even this is better. Because there are so many people who earn a lot of money and they think that I want to enjoy everything that I earn. That is being too greedy, and that will in turn cause a lot of attachment. Krishna is saying material attachment is so bonding. If you have too much of material attachment, then you will not be attached to me. So Krishna is saying, see, Krishna is seeing a ray of hope. What is that ray of hope? At least if you give up the result, there is a possibility that you will lose interest in material attachments, and you may actually start inquiring that if I'm not getting attached here, where should I get attached? At least that inquisitiveness may build. Just see, Krishna is giving even the last hope that if you are giving your results, there is a possibility that you will get attached to me or get connected to me at least. The moment you get connected to Krishna, then of course he will slowly take care of, guiding you as Paramatma to get attached to him. So Krishna is just not leaving any possibility. So when people say God is unfair, God is very partial, it is so stupid, you see. When we carefully understand Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is so accommodative. He is so fairly available to everyone. Isn't it? He is trying to see our situation and try to bring in all the souls. Okay, if you cannot do this, you do this. You cannot do this, you do that. If you cannot do that, okay, at least do this much. Not for me, at least, get detached materially. See how Krishna is so merciful. This is his attachment for us. So he's waiting for our attachment to him, which is not happening right now. So he's very, very accommodative Lord. He's very, very wonderful Lord. So see, this is when people argue, they don't know the background of this, intentions of Krishna. That's why when we read Bhagavad Gita, we get to know the intentions of Krishna, what he wants. So we should know the intentions of Krishna. Because then we will not blame the Lord for being partial, unfair. No, he is not. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. When Krishna says samoham sarva bhuteshu, he is actually equal to each one of us. But yes, when somebody becomes attached and he starts uh, engaging in devotional service, Krishna is little favorable to them. That is very natural. That is quite natural. But doesn't mean that he's not giving opportunity to all of us. Many people just right here, next door, there are so many people staying just next to the temple. Not even once they have stepped into the temple. Do you know that? It is right next to them. The temple is right next to them. The Lord is right here. But our own neighbors, some of them, not all, there are definitely a lot of people who have come also. But I'm just saying there are few people who know that there is a temple, but not even once they have come and had darshan of the Lord. Why? Because free will is like that. So, doesn't mean that Krishna is impartial to them. He is given opportunity to everyone, but it is also our free will that we need to execute and take a step forward so that we can get attached to Krishna. So, Krishna has simplified too much for all of us. So, step one, step two, step three, step four, right? So, with all these, Krishna is going to say something interesting again in the next word. That will be the final words. Dave, let's chant the next word. Unmute yourself. So, the 12th verse, Krishna is saying, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj.
श्रेयो हि जिज्ञाम अभ्यासाच्
Jnanadhyanam vishishyate.
ज्ञानाद् ध्यानं विशिष्यते
Dhyanat karma phalatyagas.
ध्यानात् कर्मफल
Tyagat chantiranantaram. Let's do that once again. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj.
श्रेयो हि जिज्ञाम अभ्यासा
Jnanadhyanam vishishyate.
ज्ञानाद् ध्यानं विशिष्यते
Dhyanat karma phalatyagas.
ध्यानात् कर्मफल त्याग
Tyagachantiranantaram.
त्यागाचान्तिर् अनन्तरम्.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Hare Krishna.
So wonderful. So Krishna has now explained that how step by step you can actually follow the process so that you get attached to him. But Krishna overall is saying that if you cannot actually take up to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. You take up this book of Bhagavad Gita, understand what is wonderful knowledge about this life. There's so much explained in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So cultivate knowledge. So better than knowledge, Krishna is saying meditation because you know when we acquire a lot of knowledge, the jnanis, when they acquire a lot of knowledge, the next process of jnana is actually the meditation, dhyana. Jnana leads to dhyana. It should lead to dhyana, actually, because simply acquiring knowledge is no point, right? For example, you have a torch. You have seen the torches, right? You know, when you have a torch, in front of the torch, there will be a rotating disc. When you rotate that disc, you know, the light becomes focused. Have you seen the torches like that? You know, there will be a torch, and front there will be a ring. You know, you just rotate that ring and that light becomes very focused. So similarly, a jnani, all of us, we can actually acquire a lot of knowledge, if not a lot, at least some knowledge. When we acquire a knowledge, that acquired knowledge should be focused. That focusing will happen through yoga, the process of yoga. Then that process of yoga, of Ashtanga yoga, basically, so jnana with Ashtanga yoga will lead to dhyana. So knowledge should be focused. Otherwise, knowledge will be just spread, you know. when you have the torch, the light is spread all across. But when you want to see something very specific, you need to focus, adjust the lens. So when you adjust the lens, then you will be able to focus on a specific thing. So similarly, there is a lot of knowledge that we acquire, but then that knowledge needs to be focused. That will happen through the process of Ashtanga Yoga. Then you can focus on the Paramatma within the Lord. That is how we need to actually practice. So this is how Krishna is saying that if you can actually uh, meditate upon me, definitely it is better than acquiring knowledge. But better than meditation also is renunciation of the fruits of action. For such renunciation, one can attain the peace of mind. So there is a lot of attachments that we have, especially to our results. Many people work day and out, in and out. Why? Because they want to acquire results. There is so much of knowledge they acquire, so much of things that they want to acquire, right? There is a lot of things that they want to do, but all that is only the motivation is I want to acquire some result out of it. Now we need to actually understand that let us give up all the results and become attached to Krishna. So there are these different processes that we have understood. We have got some very interesting concepts today, understood certain things, the process of yoga. Krishna is very accommodative. Let us understand him more and more. Try to implement these things in our own lives and see what Krishna will reciprocate to us in certain way. Let us see all of that. But from next session, from the 13th to 20th verse, Krishna is going to explain 35 qualities of a devotee. Now, this is very interesting. So, the whole chapter is called Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. Krishna is going to explain 35 qualities that a devotee should have. So, we are definitely going to understand all these things in detail because these 35 qualities are going to make Krishna very happy. So, we want to get attached to Krishna, we should know these 35 qualities. Okay? So we will continue from where we have left, and next session we will understand those 35 qualities from the verse number 13. So thank you so much for joining so early in the morning. I had to wake you up so early today, but thank you for joining so early. We will again meet next Sunday. Until then, please take care. We will also meet tomorrow for the orientation program on the Puri Jagannath Yatra. Okay, at 6 p.m. Please take care.
Okay, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Dev. Hare Krishna.